Hey Barbara, can you hear me? I think looks like you're muted though. I don't know if I am. You're still muted? I'm gonna chat something to you. Can you hear me? I can't hear you.
All right, I have a really old laptop and it doesn't always cooperate. I'm trying to just make it hold on just for a couple more months.
Yeah, that's
Anyway,
what I can myself about mine in the world. It's even gotten like it totally refurbished and a new operating system like 5 years ago. I
oh,
should just
okay.
one.
Well, I figure they're good for 3 years and then it's time to update them or replace them or something.
Yeah, right.
So, how are you today?
I'm good. I'm not bad. I'm a little tired, but
It's Monday, you're supposed to be tired.
yeah, nothing to really complain about. You know, I can't. There are a lot of other people much worse off out there living on the street or, incarcerated or
Oh,
something. I'm just
I'm
happy.
telling you.
Yeah, happy to be able to do something positive for the community, really. That's how I feel.
And that's really, I love that attitude too, because we always, my thing is the silver lining. It's always, I actually had an experience just recently. I did something to my ankle and I was kind of complaining about it. And a guy walked by me that had two prosthetic legs. And
There
I
you go.
thought, hey, I mean, seriously, talk about a sign. I was like, oh, I'm
Yeah,
good. And he was just, I mean, you would have never known it except he had shorts on.
yeah, right.
Anyway, so did you understand we were going back and forth quite a bit today, and I just was wondering did you get a chance to look at the updated uh,
I
strategic plan?
um I haven't had a chance to get back to
Oh, that's okay. All right.
about 30 minutes ago, but I did start to look at it. It was
Yeah, some good comments. I really appreciate your comments. Some good comments about even like including the websites. That's a great idea because people know. I mean, even though there's a citation, that way they know where to go to. That I really like that idea. Excuse me,
yeah,
that idea.
such a new topic for a lot of people, you know, especially like in this arena. That's why I was like, in terms of the references, it's just helpful, I think, for people to see what's out there and what other uh, police subject matter experts are saying as well,
Yeah.
Um, so, and it helps with transparency as well. So,
And some of the what the ramification is of not having good mental health services and resources for people who are you know first responders or in law enforcement. I mean, that's oh good.
Hey y'all, I don't know what's
Commissioner
going on.
Booker is joining.
I'm here.
Hi there.
Don't want.
hey, Shawana.
Can you hear us?
I can hear you. Can you hear
Oh,
me?
good. Okay.
Okay, great.
Good. So we were talking about the strategic plan and kind of where we are now with it. I made some updates. Actually, I made some additional updates today. So I think it's looking pretty good in terms of what we have. Um, there needs to be some meat added in a couple of places. Actually, I could pull it up here and let's do that.
Let's just go through it. That's what I.
Yeah.
Shawana, were you able to look at it?
You know what? I didn't. I was so busy with some other stuff, and I said I was going to do it today, and I feel very terrible. I said, "Oh no," and I was going to look at it right before here,
Ah,
and then I got caught up. So I'm so sorry. I failed on my due diligence.
well, you know what? It's not like we aren't all trying to do 10 different things. So you're forgiven.
Thank you.
And God, I mean, who knows? You might even have a life outside of the police commission, right?
I mean, a full-time job, it's so funny, and I might say this, but you get the pre of this. It's so interesting when people say stuff like the commission is fighting with the city, as if like one city council is the city itself, and as if we aren't volunteers for the city that we live in because we care. We not even getting paid to show up and go through all of this. And so it's a very interesting thing to hear when people use those kind of language towards us. I'm like, we clearly care about the city. You don't think we got other things we could be doing?
I mean, that's the thing to me that is unbelievable is that you guys are that whole entity is an unpaid group of folks. You're getting paid with because of your love for Oakland. I mean, it's pretty much, Um,
Honestly,
can you, did I, let me see here. I
I'll look
thought
it
I,
up too, and I could glance at it while you guys look. Did you read it, Omar? Yeah, of course you did.
of course he did.
Of course, he's a grade A student. Of course,
Yeah.
How
of
come I
course.
can't do this?
Did you?
Okay, we're
Here.
gonna go through it now anyway. Did a
Okay,
what?
Yeah.
great,
I don't know
great.
why it's not coming up. I don't know what's going on here.
Well, can you just share your screen?
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to do, but for some reason it's not.
Well, here I'll do it. Let me see if I can share my screen.
Okay.
My computer acts weird too. It took me forever to log on here. Let me see here. Select window or screen. Yeah, entire screen. Okay.
I don't know what's going on.
All right. Can you see my screen now?
No,
No.
No. Oh, I have to give permission.
All right. Let's see.
Let's see. Permission. Settings.
Okay.
Security and privacy. Weird. Oh, I thought I'd figured it out, but apparently not. Hmm.
is it tripping? Are you on your laptop
Yeah, it says that I have to give permission. It says go to.
to
Uh,
share?
yeah, it says go to security and privacy to give permission. But I can't find that option.
Oh shoot! Wait, where'd you just go? Hold on. Do you want me to see if I could share?
Yeah, see if
I
you.
It's looking like it when I click share. Let me go open a document. Hold on. Or do you have it up, Barbara?
I yeah, I'm gonna so I let me close it because I have it open, but I just can't share it for some reason. So
You
let
can't
me
share it either?
mm-mm. So
Uh-oh,
I don't know what's going on, but I'm
well, we
gonna
could all look at it and talk through it. I guess we don't
oh,
have to
okay. Well,
share
that's
it.
true too.
I mean, if people want to come back and look at the recording, they wouldn't be able to see it, but that's okay. We can still talk through it because we both have it.
Yeah.
I mean, we all have it.
Yeah. I do not understand that at all. Okay, well, let's do that.
Let's see. It is.
You guys
What
can't
is
see my
it?
screen?
Oh,
Mm-mm.
let me see. I'm looking for the article. What is it called? What is the? You sent us a couple of things. Is
The
it
draft
the?
draft strategic plan for OPD
Right.
health and wellness. Man, that's a little frustrating. I don't.
Yeah, that is.
Mm,
All right. I just closed my copy, so I don't know if that'll help at all. Uh,
Where did it go? Thank you. Oh, here we go. In addition to the journal.
Hmm.
Let me try. Once I get this open.
But yeah, I mean, yeah.
Okay, I'm in it. I think you could probably see me in it. Let me try. Can you see it?
Something's happening.
Okay, I shared it, I think.
Yeah, you got it up. Perfect. Thank you, Shawana.
Okay. Yeah.
oh, all right.
Righty.
Oh,
So
I
you want
finally
to,
security and privacy is, but cool.
yeah,
Is
that's
Barbara
weird.
drop? Did she
Oh
drop off?
no. No, I think. Oh no, she did.
She'll be back.
You can still see the screen though, can you?
Yeah. Yep. Can you make it a little bit bigger?
Yeah, sure. Um, I could potentially. Whoa, whoa,
That's
whoa.
maybe a little smaller.
I
See the
know.
whole.
I'm like, whoa. Oh, here we go. Wait. Oh, there we go. There we go.
Yeah, that's
That's
good.
good. That's good, right? Oh,
Yep.
here she comes.
I'm
You,
sorry. I don't know what's going on. This is
y'all, we
crazy.
having a Monday, okay? But
I
that's
guess
okay.
so. We'll blame it
Mhm.
on
That's
Monday.
okay. Where do y'all want me to scroll down
Um, let's see.
to
Well,
start?
Barbara,
So
you just
what? So just
top.
to kind of keep us on track, I added a table of contents
Okay.
so that we know, So let's just look at the table of contents real quick. I mean, the message from the chief is in there in the very first thing. Now we
You
we have an option. We can do that, or we have
top
an
top.
option.
Shawana, can you,
Um,
is that the top top?
right under table of contents. It would be the very first
Yeah.
thing in the strategic plan.
Yeah, this is the top.
All right, thank
Yeah.
you.
Or we could scroll down just a little bit.
Oh,
We
sorry.
could we could okay, right there. Number 3, purpose and application. Where that is, we could put the executive summary with the purpose of the program and expected benefits. We could do that in that place too. So that's an option.
Wait, so
Um,
we're talking about editing the table of contents to saying the put the message from the chief in section 3. Is that it?
no, no. So we could where the message from the
Uh,
chief is, we
I'm
could put
still
an
here.
executive summary in there. It's kind of the same thing, but it would be a little more generic maybe
Yeah, I
than,
might be helpful
because
since we go through so many chiefs. You know.
yeah, and the fact that this is the strategic plan for wellness, which will become part of the strategic plan for risk management, which will become part of the strategic plan for OPD.
Mm.
So
Okay.
that's, I'm trying to think in terms of the whole, pie here.
Yeah.
So
And
that's just an option that I just wanted to offer to you and, get some feedback in terms of whether or not, I mean, we can use that same message, but we just turn it into an executive summary with the purpose of the program and the expected benefits. So that's how we start off.
yeah, I like that idea. I don't like the message from the chief because someone might look at it in 10 years and be like, and like date it like that. Be like, oh, that person's been gone. They think they put it in that context, you know?
Yeah,
So,
that was their philosophy.
yeah.
Yeah, okay, well, I'll do that then. I will change that. Um, I also, I added the core objectives. I just parenthetically put the goals in there because, of course, that's one of the things when you think strategic plan, you automatically think vision and mission goals. Um, and so I actually added that to the body of it, and it's reflected. There's another. That's why there's 7 sections now instead of, I think there were 6 last week. There were 6. Um, and so where we need to, so up to that point, we're fine. The meat is there, whatever, we need to make it very clear what the plan is, that, all the information is there up to key strategies. And in the key strategies section, that's where we need to add some meat is, what does it mean when we say mental health access? What does it mean when we say physical health initiative? Training and education, funding and support, evaluation and metrics. And then one other thing that I added that wasn't in there the last time we met is employee engagement, because that is somewhere, none of this really means anything if employees aren't engaged.
Right.
So we need to include that somewhere in the document, employee engagement, because I really do believe people need to be told how to do that or given some guidance.
Well, I
As
think
to,
more than employee engagement should be, um, hold on, I gotta sneeze. Sorry, I'll be back on screen. I had to stop cooking something. What should be actually a consistency plan or something like that. Like how frequently, like naming like what they should train, how often that things should be reviewed and things like that. Is it one time, multiple times a year?
yeah,
That can
that's
be
gonna.
that could be under employee engagement, but I think some of that needs to be in there.
Okay, that's also going to be under evaluation and metrics.
Oh,
So
okay.
yeah, so yeah, if you want to skip down to, well, let's do policy and infrastructure. That's where our
You want me to go to that part in the
yeah,
document
just go to
or
the section. Yeah, that would be good. So go back a little bit.
oh, did I pass it?
Yeah, you passed it. So before
Yeah.
implementation, policy and infrastructure. Yeah, right
Oh, here
there.
it goes. Yeah, I see it.
hmm So, so let's stay here for a minute. So collaboration and support. So to make it clear that collaboration and support, we talked a little bit about this last time. The city grants manager, in terms of collaboration and support, there is a city grants manager and a department grants manager, and those folks we need to collaborate with those folks in terms of, this is under the funding section. Go back just a little bit more to funding. Yeah, there we go. Okay, so, well, I'm gonna, let me cover training and education too. So that's mandatory resilience and stress management. This is something we talked about early on.
Wait,
Mandatory
wait.
resilience and stress management training for all ranks and professional positions. And Commissioner Booker, this is something that I came from my notes from some things that we were talking about
Okay.
with training. And then, Commissioner Farmer, your point about starting at the top, getting buy-in from the top. So the leadership workshops on recognizing and addressing stress and burnout. And that that can be built into the framework in terms of, the the leadership workshops when it can be done. There's a number of times that can be done. The same with the stress and management training. There are specific, consistent times when we have employees in one place, like for example, for, line up before shifts, when we can do mini trainings, if you will. And we can mention that in this piece with training and education. And then the funding, one of the things, Commissioner Farber, one of the things you asked for in the last meeting was a projected budget. And we're working on that right now because it's, we're in, the mid-cycle period. That's what we're working on right now. So I should have something, I hope, for you during, for the next meeting. And then funding sources, I think we need to make it very clear what we're talking about when we say funding sources, because we have government, we have foundations, and when we say government, we have state, federal, local. And so we need to spell that out. We also have the parcel tax, which the parcel tax is designed for public safety. So that should be open to mental health and wellness.
Well, I know that I saw the agenda for the SPOC that oversees funds generated for Measure NN, and OPD had something about wellness in their agenda. I don't know what was discussed, but it sounds like if they're gonna talk about it there, then they're talking about using Measure NN funds for wellness. So
yeah, I did talk to someone on SPLC on the one of the commissioners.
Yeah.
And gave her a recommendation for. I'll send that to you. Actually, I'll send you what I sent to her.
Who did you send it to? Tawana or
What's her name? And it's so funny because I know four of the people on that, and the one person I didn't know was the person I met with, and I can't think of her name. I'll think of it. But anyway, yeah, I did send her a recommendation for a budget. But it was only an operating budget, and then for personnel. But it didn't cover things like our mental health professional, and it wasn't a full budget. But it was an operating budget and a personnel, for personnel costs. Anyway,
I want to ask a question. Okay, so these different sections we have here: training and education, funding, let's see, policy and infrastructure, physical health initiatives. Do we want to put like a definition of what that means to us? Like, what is training and education? Like, define it like in a couple of sentences, and then,
I think that's, yeah.
And then the bullet points will show how we recommend accomplishing that, that definition, basically.
Okay.
Because some people might, training and education, maybe it could be interpreted different ways, or it may not be. It could be very, over broad or very specific. And I think that we should try and be some specificity,
I agree with that. I agree.
Yeah.
Like try to be specific so that it can be flexible, but not too much room for interpretation.
Yeah.
Yeah, because this won't have a definition section in it. So that's a good idea to include that. I mean, we could do that, but I don't really think we have a lot of time to get this done.
No, we don't. So now if I have some marching orders, I need to march because I was thinking about that today. I said it's going to be May at the end of the week. So
yeah. Yep. Okay. I made a note. I can do that.
So wait, just so I'm sure, Omar, what do you want? I mean, what are you suggesting under training and education? Oh wait, you break. Oh wait, hold on, you're breaking up.
Yeah, I'm recommending for all that. Can you? Is it better?
Wait,
I just came a little
testing.
close. Can you guys hear me better now?
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm recommending for all the sections, training and education, funding, policy, whatever the case may be,
Hmm.
just to provide 1 to 2 line definition, 1 to 3 line definition of what that means. And
Okay,
then
like
right below
purpose
there,
driven. Hmm.
where you have the bullet points, that basically will go into more detail about what that means.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
Is that your dog? One of your dogs?
No, something startled me at my plant fell and I screamed because
Oh,
You?
it scared me.
All right. But that's all I'm saying. And Barbara, you don't have to do all that alone. I can go in and maybe
Yeah.
try and do a little bit, write something up, this week too, so we can at least um, be close to done by Friday. Because I know that the week after our last meeting, I know that you were busy and stuff, so you've only had time
Hmm.
week to work on this. So
we're always busy.
That's
You
true.
know, yeah,
And
I mean,
since we don't
you
have a
know,
meeting this Thursday, I could do some stuff Thursday evening too. Maybe just block out because it's a lot of commission stuff I need to do.
okay.
we'll plan on doing that. Yeah.
Okay, so funding, that's pretty straightforward. The projected budget goes in first, and this is 26 to 28. So that's what we're talking about in terms of this strategic plan. That's the period that it covers. And then the funding sources, we can actually, um, in our policy and procedures manual for wellness, we actually have uh, an appendix that is specifically for funding. And it talks about grants and how to apply for grants. And then it has, I don't know, several pages of resources that are available. So I'll send that to you and take a look. And I don't know if we could use that somewhere because, again, and what made me think of it was you saying that people just don't know. They don't understand what training and education mean. Does that mean that we reimburse people to go to college? No, that's not what it means.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
So, yeah. So, but for the funding piece, we could actually, I'll send it to you and see what you think.
And okay,
And
how often do they need to go to that peer support training that you were saying costs $9,900? Is that an
well,
annual thing?
that's the basic training. So there's three trainings. There's basic training, that's a one-time deal. There's advanced training, that's the second. And then the third one is critical incident training.
And
So
if they go,
on,
once they go, they don't have to recertify.
no, but they have to need a continuing education, 8 hours of continuing education every year.
Mm.
Okay, well, that's the kind
So
of thing
they're
we,
still training. Yeah.
I think that's the kind of stuff maybe we want in here in terms of like training for them, like be specific about those three things: basic and advanced, and then critical incident training, and then maybe talk about the approximate cost of the training or how much it costs, the last time they did it, so people get an idea in the funding area.
Okay, so that's but so that would cover training for peer support and critical incidents only. That
Yeah,
wouldn't cover, yeah, that
yeah,
wouldn't
not
cover training for the department, like trauma training and any of the soft skills training.
yeah. I'm just saying that's a place that we could start. Know some of those numbers. Yeah.
And no, this is all good because I have done this for so long. Sometimes I forget what people don't know, or it's hard for me to think like people who don't do this. So no, this is really good. I appreciate it.
And I think like also adding the recommended salary for the department grants coordinator, the director, and the administrative person that you mentioned. I think that would be good to include in there. City grants manager, you talking about someone who works for the city administration office there?
Right,
All
right,
right.
exactly.
So I think under funding then, somewhere in there, uh, we need to put their not the city grants manager how much they make, but what we want for the department grants coordinator, director, admin support.
That will be part of the projected budget. Yeah, there's a table. I put together a table. I just need to update it for the
Okay.
projected budget, and that's it's pretty straightforward. It's just personnel costs and operating costs.
Yeah. And it should be in their their overall budget, but this is just pulling it out so people can see it, correct?
Well, right, and the thing is too, this is good because there really isn't. I mean, because we are the three people who know what needs to be done and know what it's going to cost to do this. So that means you have three subject matter experts going in and making a recommendation as to how this should work, which is gives us a lot better chance of getting the funding we need because of that, right?
Hmm.
So yeah, it is going to be incorporated into the, into risk management's budget and the department's budget and all that. But the recommendation is coming with an explanation of what and why from three people who know what we need
Hmm.
or how this works. So the core objectives, again, that's where the goals are. And I cleaned this up a little bit, but I didn't really change anything. But it does explain a little more of the subsections that were, above. It talks about, raising awareness. What does that mean? Uh, Raise administration and community support for trauma-informed policing, provide ongoing wellness training, activities, educational opportunities, support and resources. That's all part of, I mean, that is, there'll be a next definition for what training is. But then as you look at the core objectives, it does flesh it out a little bit.
Hmm.
Because the whole idea behind this is, well, two things actually. One is to give people the tools and the resources that they need so that they can take care of themselves, really, and each other. And the other is to create a culture of wellness here. So that's explained in, and for all employees, not just sworn staff, support and,
Hmm.
so, and that evaluation piece is also, so as part of the goals, evaluate and report. And that, Commissioner Booker, that's what you were just talking about a minute ago, was the evaluation piece. I mean, making sure that there's some way that we know what we've done and that it's working. So evaluate and report on progress. And that's spelled out too in later on.
Okay.
But the development, wellness, and trauma informed practices into there's the policies there with the reviews and the evaluation and reviews, meaning employee reviews. And then the collaboration piece, which is really important. It's going to be important for us because when I leave, there likely will be no full-time person in this position.
Right.
Which means that if there is, in our strategic plan, if there is a mention of collaboration and partnerships with academic institutions, professional organizations, health and wellness providers, that then becomes oversight. And it becomes a conduit for resources. So and even if there is someone in that position, then that also same thing still. It provides that piece for wellness within
Well,
OPD.
and if we don't have in-house trainers or in-house mental health clinician or all of those things, you're just gonna have to partner and find partner organizations that there can be a consistent relationship with.
Yeah, yeah. And what you said about continuity too, that is so important because we can't just have however many people we have that are using the services of the wellness unit, whether that's a mental health professional, whether it's EAP or whatever, and then all of a sudden there's nothing. You just, clearly that would be disastrous. Okay, so then the key strategies.
I think, hey, before you go to that, just talking
No,
about
it's
the
okay.
goals of the wellness unit. Um, I also would like to say something about, providing like improved education and training. Something specific to uh, PTSD support, emotional health support. I'll put some comments in there, but some more stuff that's specific uh, about those issues, maybe about reducing drug and alcohol related incidents, things like that. I think, that could potentially be measurable. I think is helpful.
I mean, it's easy enough to do PTSD screening.
Yeah, I've always wondered like why can't we just do like PTSD screening after every critical incident or on an annual basis? I mean, it doesn't take long.
Or even before PTSD, because if you actually have resources in place, you can help mitigate symptoms from becoming PTSD.
Yeah,
Like when you think about it, and when you think about resiliency, resilient people typically think about resiliency as an independent thing, but it's not. It's about community support.
yeah.
I
I
agree 100%.
Yeah, I think that's a really good point, Shwana. Maybe that has me thinking that maybe screening should be done like in the academy, or like when they, I don't know, beginning of field training, right when they become trainees, and so that it can be tracked.
Oh, yeah, that's an idea. But also just what tools are in place, like this peer support and other systems and structures to can catch it, can catch, hey, you seem a little different, or this was a traumatic situation. Like I think for their wellness, and I think it is really part of our role in the charter too, like as it relates to that what is being offered, right? Like that's for us to decide what kind of training and education and classes do they have. And ideally, we might want under here something, and when we get into the weeds of it, something that's consistent with, to your point, Commissioner Farmer, after a critical incident, these six things need to happen, or these seven, you know what I'm saying? Like not just did you do it, you didn't do it, go home, take some rest, but like, hey, you connect with people this week, how are you eating, how are you sleeping, like all of these other things that help you talk it out, get it out your body, some somatic stuff, like the opportunity to be more prevention and versus just assessing and responsive.
And
Mm.
that's what we train the critical incident teams to do. There is a policy on critical incidents. We're required to hold debriefs after a critical incident. And what the teams do, there are always peer support and critical incident folks at the debriefs. They're also at the scene. So they kind of follow the folks that were involved. Everybody from the first person that took the call to the very last person, the crime scene tech or whatever. But all of those folks are involved. They're all contacted. They all come to a debrief. And then the peer support folks and the critical incident teams follow up with them. They just check in like a week later, 3 weeks later, 2 months later, and say, okay, just checking in on you. I just thought I'd see how you're doing. And, sometimes it's a casual conversation about their family or something, but just to kind of try to get a reading on what's going on, and also to let them know that no matter what's going on, and if something is going on, they're never in it alone. That's the whole point of that structure and having those critical incident teams.
Yeah, and does someone track how many critical incidents there are every year?
Um, I'm sure we do track it, and it's it's kind of organic the way it's tracked. But yeah, we do track it. How many people actually uh, are debriefed and that kind of thing. But yeah, it's tracked. That's tracked, and so peer support encounters also are tracked.
Okay.
All right. So I'll spend some time trying to cuz I think is the vision for this to be both the overview and in the weeds kind of stuff.
I think that, well, this is just me talking, because we have had no one we haven't had a strategic plan in I don't know how long.
Okay.
Um, the last one I wrote was 2020 to 2024. Um, I don't know what happened between 2022 and 2025, or when did Dr. Nettles leave? But we do know that we didn't have any staff in the wellness unit for a year. So, and now you have a person, me, who's here in an acting capacity, which does not lend itself to any stability or continuity or anything like that. So, I believe what we need to do is we need to keep in mind that what the product that we want to come up with is something that is actually doable. And you think about a person coming in that maybe doesn't, I'm hoping it's somebody that's, I haven't seen what the position description is, but someone who's familiar with the way OPD works, the way the city works, with mental health for police officers, that kind of thing, structure, function, framework, all of those things. But there's no guarantee that it's going to be somebody, probably won't be somebody that can just walk right in. Very few people could just walk right into this and pick up where we left off. So I think we need to keep in mind that this has to be something realistic and doable. So we don't want to get into the weeds too much, Commissioner Booker. That's what I'm saying. Does that make sense?
Oops, sorry, I accidentally pressed mute. Yeah, just to give people some guidance and structure of the direction to go.
Right. And some standards,
Yeah.
like Commissioner, excuse me, Commissioner Farmer was saying about PTSD and PTSD and all that. Yeah. Certainly somebody sitting in this chair should know what that is, but in terms of, sometimes it has to be said. The mental health professional, EMDR, the mental health professional should be someone that knows what that is and knows how to use it. Those kind of things. Yeah, yeah. So that's a little bit in the weeds, but not really.
Yeah. I don't think talking about PTSD and drug and alcohol support, things like that, are too much in the weeds, because it's even mentioned in like our police commission mandate to specifically target those types of things. So I think that's universal throughout the law enforcement arena, that those are universal issues within law enforcement arena, just within the use of force arena, or
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
use force. So, or first responders, you could say it like that. So,
And we know what the data says. The data says the incidence of alcoholism, drug abuse, all of that, it is higher. Suicide, all of those things, it is higher with first responders. So yes, maybe,
Yeah.
to specifically say that these are services that, not that we're writing a policy manual, but just that in terms of what the goal is here, the goal is to provide these services.
Yeah, and to destigmatize this whole discussion around, you know, you may have some people, on the command staff level or, that really would like to do this. They would love to see this happen. But the whole culture of law enforcement in general, it can make it hard to execute it. Even if that's one person's, goal or three people's goal. Just like that's what's baked into the culture. So.
Mhm. Yeah, I agree.
Uh,
So, so in terms of access, mental health access, let's just go over the key strategies real quick.
Okay. Oops.
Okay, so
Wait, what is that?
are
Okay.
those my? Is that what that's right?
What'd
Shawana,
you
can,
say?
can you go back to where you were?
Funding, training, education. Where was I? Growing. Oh, wait. Did something delete? Wait. Wasn't it mental health access right under this? Oh, no, I was up here. I was right
key
here.
strategies. There you go. Key strategies.
Click on one of those comment icons to the right. I think that's one of my. Those are my
Oh,
comments.
this where you added
Yeah,
something? Let's see.
those are your comments.
It's not.
Not showing
Oh,
anything.
Uh,
no.
you have to be in
No.
review mode.
Oh, let me see. But oh, if I scroll over, here it
There.
goes.
Oh, there you go. Yeah.
Yeah, because I do want it to be aligned with the charter too. Oh, discuss strategy. You want us to read this now, or just
I,
you just naming that it's
I
here?
just want, I just wanted to see if it would show it. This is what I'm personally talking about when we talk about PTSD, complex PTSD, chronic stress in general. So those are my thoughts. I think that, and Barbara responded to just about all of it. I think so. I think we're all on the same page there. So
Great, great.
Yeah, and those are in terms of the training, the continuing education, the procedural justice training, the academy, health and wellness training. Those things are all discussed,
Okay.
which is a good, which is really good. So the mental health access to making sure that, and again, you got me thinking now about explanations of things, but that it's clear what mental health access means. And in this case, I think the two bullets kind of do it: 24/7 confidential helpline on site mental health professionals. So, yeah, access, that people have access. If they need help, they get help right now. And that's part of that too, is the peer support officer program. So, physical, we some of these things we meet now, but we want to make sure that we can sustain it. Again, to Commissioner Booker's point, how do we sustain these things? So um, the training and education we already did. The next one is Commissioner Booker. What's the next one after training and education?
Let's see. Hold on. I'm trying to. Oh, now that I showed the comments, is oh my scroll thing is further over. Here it goes. Then after that is we talked about funding.
Funding, okay, policy and infrastructure. So under the policy and infrastructure is the wellness policies that we talked about, the wellness the policy for wellness overall for the wellness units, the policy for peer support and critical incidents, policy manuals for the wellness program, and policy manual for, which these things exist, they just need to be updated, for peer support and critical incident. And those things, and then
so maybe here we put, have it and make sure it's updated, and maybe there's like you have here, or something like an annual review or something, or.
And where do these things live,
That's what I was just about to say, because like with a lot of wellness policies, even in organizations, you have an audit. You just make sure things are there, it's up to date, people can access it.
Yeah, we did that. I know that these were updated in 2020 was, I think they're supposed to be, when we wrote these, they were supposed to be updated or reviewed every 3 years. And the last time, I believe, I'm working on updating the one for peer support right now.
Okay.
One for the wellness program, that won't be hard to update. So those two, we can, I think putting something in that says that they're reviewed every 3 years or whatever, and it doesn't have to be maybe it won't need an update,
Yeah, just at least.
Okay, and then then any of the relevant policies, same thing under the policy to update any of the relevant policies. That's going to be peer support and critical incidents, lactation, anything related to wellness.
Did you all create, I think you mentioned this last time, did a wellness spaces ever get created?
There's wellness spaces at all 3 locations now. So communications, Eastmont, and PAB.
Nice.
They all 3 have wellness spaces.
Nice.
And then leave policies in terms of the policy we need to talk about. I mean, that we need to mention that.
But I think that's more of a HR, right? That's more.
That is actually, yes, absolutely. That's what I'm thinking, how we can refer that one to.
Yeah.
But you're right, that is HR.
So we could I just want us to have a good balance of prevention, mitigation, like prevention, and even if it happens, how do you help even still prevent further injury,
response,
and then responsiveness. Yeah, like all of the spectrum,
Okay.
But I think, this is good. I'll play with this some more too on Thursday, and like add some stuff, because I think you're right. This is a good guiding document, and then we could have a additional document that can get more into the weeds of stuff. Like, these are ideas for consideration, so whoever else gets in the role could do it. But for me and Commissioner's Farmer role, what the charter says for us, like, we want to make sure those things are easy enough for OPD to report out, because that's also a big thing. We don't want to not have access to information that they should be able to report on.
Right. And so to me, this next section is the most important. Not the timeline. Timeline is very important, but that's pretty clear. I mean, it's cut and dry. Phase 1, phase 2, phase 3, when the timeline is, and we can adjust that however you want. But that's pretty, that's pretty cut and dry. But evaluation and metrics. This is a weakness, and this is where we really want to make sure that we have, because that is clearly married to sustainability. Without the evaluation and the metrics, and you can't wait until the last minute to evaluate. You evaluate every single day, every single program, every single project. So, and not just wait until the end of the year when you have an annual report due and you need information. No, we do that already with peer support and critical incidents. There's no reason we can't do it with wellness.
Yeah.
So,
and that's what I was saying earlier today about the key performance indicators having those, and you agree with that, right?
Absolutely. Well, yeah, if you look below, I wrote them today.
Okay, excellent.
So, yeah, why don't we don't have a lot of time. Why don't we skip down to the table, on the next page. There's a table on the next page.
It's easy to interpret and understand that and measurable, then you're not going to get the grants.
Right.
So these are the performance measures for wellness and peer support. So it's the practice, it's the, how it's measured, it's the data sources where we get the information, the short term and the long term outcome. So that's what I put in here for this strategic plan. And it's, the big thing is, where does the data come from? That's what, but it's specifically spelled out here. And there are forms to collect data for wellness and all that. It just, we don't have the data. So we do, like I said, we do for peer support critical incidents, but that's one of the things that in this strategic plan needs to be clear, is that we can't. And you know what, I like that about explaining what the section is, because in that subsection, I'm going to write a couple sentences about why this data is important, because everybody isn't an empiricist. They don't necessarily, see the value and importance in data, but we can't even apply for grants without being able
that's
to.
just so true. And the question that I have, and when I'm looking at this number and type of staff who use wellness unit services, is this stuff anonymous, or do
It
you
is.
know when they use? Okay.
So I'll give you an example. So I have put logs in the quiet rooms, the lactation room, and the rooms where the massage chairs are. And ask people when they use it to just fill out the date and how long they used it. That's all. So then we know that we have had, it was one person use the meditation room for 30 minutes on that date. And that way we can keep track of the use of that much of it anyway.
Yeah. So, and they fill that out.
Yeah, they do. They're pretty good about it, actually. I just started doing it about 2 months ago, so we don't have a lot of data, but it's the only use data we have at all.
That's nice. And then was it a conversation, like explain to them that, and it'll help us keep funding for stuff like this?
And it's on the top of the log too. It says that we're trying to get funding from grants, and the general fund, and this is how we do it. We have to have data. And so, yeah, people are totally willing. I mean, if we were asking for their name or something, they might not be so cooperative.
Of course.
But I understand that. I mean, so anyway, yeah, that's, but again, somebody has to be here to do that. Folks aren't going to do that if there's, they just come and use the services and that's the end of that.
Yeah. And I like what you said earlier, and like, how do we create a culture of healing, a culture of wellness, so people won't be afraid to use the services?
Yeah, this is the expectation, that is how we, I remember when I was at a high school with a friend. She was trying to find a high school for her son. And one of the questions she asked was, how many children here go on to college? And the person we were talking to said, oh, we don't ask them if they're going, we ask them where. And so it's kind of the same thing, the expectation is that you are going to take care of yourself, that you're going to use the tools that we're giving you, the services that we're giving you. We have a very nice gym here at OPD, at the PAB. We have another nice gym at Eastmont. So in terms of physical health, those resources should be used.
Is there a log outside of there too?
You know what? I haven't put one in there in but now that you mention it, I definitely will. but I
It should,
haven't put one in
yeah,
there.
yeah. I mean, it'd be interesting to see which officers are using the fitness and to stay. I
Oh,
mean, when you think about mental health, like it's not being funny. Like these things are important to your having physical activity
oh,
and
I totally
movement and
endorphins,
exercise.
right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
I get
totally
it.
aligned. Like when it's not like two ends of a spectrum.
Well, I have never been in the gym downstairs or only a few times the one at Eastmont when there was no one there. There's always someone in there. So that's a good sign. They actually do get used.
That's nice.
Yeah. And
All
you're
right.
right. It is, it's kind of the same people all the time, but still.
Well, thanks for getting this started. I think I'll play around with looking at it, see if I have. I know Commissioner Farmer left some comments. I'll see if I have some. But what is the? Are we gonna give this to interim chief, or what is the direction we want to do with this strategic plan?
Well, I think that our goal was to finish this by the end of the month or as soon as possible, and then update those other policies, the wellness policies and procedures, and the peer support and critical incident. I think the B17 is what it's called, Empower DMS, and then present them to the commission before Barbara leaves at one of the June meetings. Um, and then, do you need to route that through your chain of command first?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah. So I guess we would update all that stuff here. She routes it through her chain of command. Then it comes to the commission. If we that might, that probably means that it's probably not going to be ready to be presented to the commission in June, though. I would think, unless
We
you
could
really,
try for mid-June. I mean, I think we could, and especially if I say, this is when this is going to be presented, that may
yeah, especially
push it a little harder.
especially give them a heads up that you're trying to finish these three things before you leave in June. We have a June, I think it's June 11th meeting and June 25th. So, yeah, I think that should be the goal, is to present them at one of those two meetings.
I agree.
And I'm willing to meet outside of this meeting, Barbara, if you want, if that's helpful.
Okay, that may be, yeah, we may have to do that. I appreciate that too, because I think that would be, I know the last 2 weeks has been really busy for me, but I think that's the only way we're really going to get this done is,
Yeah. Yeah. I don't see how we're going to get it done meeting every other week. So I don't want
yeah.
to speak for Commissioner Booker, but I'm willing to, if you want to propose some additional times to meet offline, let me know and we can do.
Okay. Yeah. And the thing is, I can tell too that two of you are like me in terms of it's not worth doing if we're not going to do it right. I mean,
Yeah. I don't want
what's
to
the
just
point, right?
say we
So,
did. But,
yeah, I would totally be willing to do that. Thank you both again. I appreciate you and I hopefully will be talking to you soon.
Talk to you soon. Thank you for doing all of this and sending us all the docs. And sorry I wasn't up to
Oh, no.
speed.
No, it's fine. Like I said, I know people have lives.
April was a really busy month. It's winding down a little bit in May, but I had so many moving parts in April. It was a pretty intense month.
It's a blessing though.
Yeah. All right. See y'all soon.
Thank you. Bye
Bye
bye.
bye.